theft going on. It really jeopardizes especially our small businesses, but large businesses are affected as well.
Retail theft certainly a persistent problem, and business owners expect it's only going to get worse in the run-up to the holiday shopping season. Tonight, law enforcement and political leaders across the West Coast are taking steps to try to address this issue. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Retail theft is a problem all across the country, but new data out from the National Retail Federation shows cities here in the West are being hit hardest by thieves. Los Angeles ranks at the top of that list of U.S. cities affected by organized retail crime. The Oakland, San Francisco area and Seattle are in the top 5 on this list. And in the top 10, Sacramento, Denver, and Albuquerque. KTVU's Jesse Gary shows us how the city of San Jose in the Bay Area is hoping high-tech tools can help to make a dent in this problem.
As a forward-thinking department, we're going to use and leverage those technologies to ensure that we can provide the best service possible.
San Jose police say the unblinking eye of automated license plate reader cameras could help turn the tide in the problem of rampant retail thefts. From 2021 to 2022, such crimes increased 25%.
There's too much theft going on. It really jeopardizes especially our small businesses, but large businesses are affected as well.
Alex Tatinsky of the Downtown Association says some merchants were forced out of business and others have been left bleeding red ink. Customers have been affected too.
Things get more expensive if you even have access to them. You know, there's small businesses that have to close because they can't sustain because the inventory just disappears.
Police say a pilot program from last year is now permanent. The city is allocating $210,000 annually to place license plate readers in 76 strategic locations to track criminals and their escape routes.
We've used automatic license plate readers to solve catalytic converter thefts, smash and grab robberies, home burglaries, even an attempted murder of a police officer. I mean, we've been able to use these cameras to identify suspects.
Additionally, a team of 5 officers are now dedicated to investigate retail theft crimes. They collect data from the cameras and work with detectives and community stakeholders to track suspects and make arrests.
Utilizing those investigators, leveraging the video technology that we have, and then getting together with officers in the streets who are actually going out there and responding to these types of calls of service will kind of provide a holistic level of service that we're looking for.
Officials say all of the data from the cameras that's collected is deleted every few months unless it's used in an ongoing police investigation. Outside San Jose Police Headquarters, Jesse Gary, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada is helping to lead a bipartisan group that's putting pressure on Congress right now to take action on the issue of retail crime. Senator Cortez Masto stood outside the U.S. Capitol with that group yesterday, calling for the passage of the Combating Organized Retail Crime Act. She says the bill is designed to give law enforcement the tools needed to go after thieves and to hold them accountable. In Bellevue, Washington, outside of Seattle, some stores are launching a new initiative that puts police officers both inside and outside those businesses.
We have undercover officers that will be working with the retailers, their managers, their loss prevention on certain days, high peak hours that the theft occurs to combat that retail theft.
The Bellevue Police Department announced new plans to combat retail theft earlier this month. The department is stressing the importance of stores reporting cases of theft. Investigators believe some thieves are targeting particular stores with the belief that those businesses won't report the crimes to police. Now to major developments we are following tonight in a story people here on the West Coast and across the entire country have been closely watching. The man suspected of killing 18 people and wounding 14 more in Lewiston, Maine, has been found dead after an intense manhunt. The body of 40-year-old Robert Card was reportedly found near a recycling center where he had worked. He was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This manhunt left people across that area in lockdown until this afternoon. Sources say the Army reservist had been committed to a mental health facility this summer after hearing voices. And a man in Washington says he has been keeping close tabs on several of his family members who live in Maine, where that manhunt has been taking place. Michael Davis used to live in the town of Lewiston, where 18 people were killed on Wednesday night. He says all of his family members are okay and they have been staying indoors.
When I heard it was Schemengees, I was like, going through my pictures, I was like, yeah, we were just there in February. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, that's crazy. It's surreal when you realize that these areas are places that you've not only recently been, but areas that you grew up hanging out and doing stuff with friends at.
Davis says his family does spend a lot of time at that bowling alley where the suspected gunman opened fire this week. All of his family members were home when this week's shooting happened. Tonight, millions of people across the West Coast are facing dangerous fire conditions as we head into the weekend. Dry, windy weather is arriving, and that is leading to red flag warnings all across California. These are images from Ventura County in Southern California and Contra Costa County in Northern California, and they give you a sense of just how dry the brush is right now. And with winds ramping up, there is a lot of concern about wildfires being able to spread quickly. Let's bring in our meteorologist, Mark Tamayo from KTVU, for some more perspective on the fire danger here. Mark, the strongest, driest winds of the season is what we're expecting this weekend. What is the timing on the red flag conditions? When do the winds really start to ramp up?
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, this is the time of year we really have to take these. We always have to take a red flag warning seriously, but especially in the peak of fire season right now for the month of October. So, as you mentioned, the red flag warning in place for Northern California and Southern California as well. Up in Northern California, the red flag warning begins for portions of this region for your Saturday. So Saturday and into Sunday, winds will be increasing. For Saturday, the winds really focused up in the higher terrain and also for the areas up to the north. But then on Sunday, the winds will actually begin to redevelop in Southern California, the Central Coast down toward Ventura County and Los Angeles. And we're talking about winds around 50 to 60 miles an hour, not out of the ordinary. We could have those winds gusting to higher peaks, higher gusts for the higher peaks of the state.
Yeah, and obviously, as you talked about, we have these red flag conditions from Northern California down to Southern California. Are there particular areas that we need to really focus on, that we should be most worried about, where we have the greatest potential for wildfires to start? Well,
those areas that have the strongest winds, right? So if a fire were to start, those strong winds, you're getting gusts over 50 to 60 miles an hour. That could lead to rapid, explosive fire growth, and that will be for the higher peaks of the state. So for the Bay Area, Mount St. Helena up in the North Bay, Mount Diablo in the East Bay, and then in Southern California, of course, closer to the San Gabriel Mountains, and also out toward Ventura County as well, and also the Tehachapi. So maybe a drive on Interstate 5 could be a bit of a challenge as those winds do ramp up. Once again, the red flag warning in place for Southern California for Sunday and into Monday.
All right, let's try to put this in a little bit of perspective here, because it wasn't that long ago that a whole lot of the state of California saw a small amount of rain. It was just last week, in fact. Is that going to help at all to kind of limit the fire risk here as the winds start to ramp up?
Well, Alex, at least in the Bay Area, Northern California, we had some rain showers just last weekend. I think it was on Sunday, and that helps, but it does not wipe out fire season. We've also had some really hot days as well, so things are still very dry, and so it's something to be watching closely, especially as those peak winds do pick up by Sunday morning. So it helps, but still fire danger is still very much a concern into the weekend. Now down towards Southern California, what's interesting, in August we were talking about a tropical storm producing real significant rainfall, inches, so that'll be interesting. Not all parts of Southern California picked up that significant rainfall, but that could be a factor somewhat heading into the weekend. All those years of drought with really little rainfall, that's kind of that's not the case this time of year. But the thinking is, Alex, whenever you get that much rainfall, of course we had last winter, that could lead to more growth, and all that means extra brush can ready to burn. So that's the thinking, that we could still have some catastrophic fires, even though we had a lot of rainfall last winter.
Yeah, folks are going to have to stay alert throughout this weekend across California. Mark Tamayo from KTVU, thank you. A lot of people along the West Coast or in the Bay Area started the weekend off with a big jolt. A magnitude 3.9 earthquake hit the San Francisco Bay Area just about 30 minutes ago tonight. The epicenter was in the city of Millbrae. That's about 15 miles south of San Francisco. People have reported feeling the shaking as far south as San Jose. So far, there are no reports of any injuries or damage in this area. Up next tonight, a historically black neighborhood near Las Vegas that has been sinking into the ground for decades. Coming up on West Coast Wrap, how the state is now helping homeowners who have felt forgotten for far too long. Plus,
yeah, world champion!
It is a celebration 92 years in the making. Coming up tonight, how one man is going for a new world record at the Grand Canyon. In Hollywood, striking actors return to the bargaining table with the major studios today. SAG-AFTRA says it's made a comprehensive counteroffer to the studios. A group of SAG-AFTRA members published an open letter to union leaders encouraging the negotiating committee to continue fighting for better wages and royalties, along with workplace protections. The studios and SAG-AFTRA suspended talks earlier this month after disagreeing on streaming revenue shares and AI protections. A man has been arrested in connection with the murder of another man whose body was found in a barrel on a Malibu beach. 37-year-old Joshua Lee Simmons was arrested for the killing of Javante Murphy, whose body was found in Malibu in July. He's also been arrested and charged for attempted robbery after using bear mace to loot a jewelry store in September.
They were able to find video of a vehicle that they used to dump the barrel in the lagoon. And then they worked backwards from the video and were able to identify Joshua Simmons.
As Simmons' next court date is scheduled for November 3rd. A Washington woman says she and dozens of people she works with can't get out of Gaza right now. Ramona Okumura has been trying to leave the region for the past 3 weeks. She is part of a humanitarian aid group that was in the region when fighting between Israel and Hamas started. Her family members in Washington have been working to keep in contact with her. They say she is still in Gaza with her aid group. They're among those calling for a ceasefire and a safe passage corridor out of Gaza. The Israeli military is expanding ground activity in the Gaza Strip, sending tanks and troops into that territory for a limited incursion. This comes ahead of an expected full-scale ground invasion. It's reported there's a communications and internet blackout due to airstrikes. In the meantime, Israeli officials report the number of hostages taken by Hamas has now climbed up to 229. A Hamas official told Russian media they will not be releasing hostages until a ceasefire deal can be reached. People who say they feel like they live in a Nevada community that has been forgotten now have $37 million in relief on the way. They've been watching their historically black neighborhood sink into the ground for decades now. Fox 5's Kim Passoff reports they insist the problem is no fault of their own.
When I first come here, it was all desert. Wasn't nothing out here. It was all desert.
Annie Walker can still vividly recall moving to a booming Las Vegas in the 1950s. The city still segregated. Strip hotels not allowing African Americans in casinos.
You wasn't treated the best even down on Fremont Street going to the dime store. You know, if a white person came in or was in there, they waited on them before they waited on you.
African Americans could only live in certain areas like the West Side and North Las Vegas.
This was an all-black neighborhood in the 60s.
Windsor Park was built to house black families, originally comprised of 241 homes. Now, only 90 remain.
Homes literally started to fall. The streets started to crack.
Proper studies of the land were not done before building began. Decades later, the results were catastrophic.
Groundwater started to be removed from this neighborhood in the 80s. Because of that groundwater removal, it caused the fault lines that exist to cause the homes to sink.
The entire neighborhood is sinking. The unstable ground causing cinder block walls to shift. Inside of Annie Walker's home, walls are separating from the ceiling.
See the crack right there on her foundation?
Over the last 4 years, State Senator Dina Neal, whose Clark County district includes this North Las Vegas neighborhood, has come to know nearly every family still here.
These are actual taxpayers, neighbors, families, nephews, grandmothers who have held on waiting for some kind of justice.
That wait began when it was discovered the neighborhood was unstable.
1989 is when the state and the city found out about it, and their home insurance was arbitrarily canceled for all of the homeowners.
In the 90s, the city of North Las Vegas secured more than $14 million from the federal government to move people out. Foundations remain in dirt lots where homes once stood.
After the movement out in I think the last home was 97. This is pretty much what it looked like. When you see it, it looks downtrodden and desolate.
This doesn't look like any other neighborhood
It does
in
not.
Las Vegas.
It does not. I considered it, you know, a neighborhood that's been in a state of suspension.
We moved into this home May the 15th, 1966. This was our dream, my husband's dream.
Barbara Carter is also an original Windsor Park resident, living in this home for most of her life. Decades of memories, Christmases, birthday parties, nightly family dinners, all set here.
This is me underneath, and this is my grandbaby over my shoulder. And all of this is still the same.
While she's seen so many good times here, the problems are glaring. Cracks are everywhere. There are gaps under ill-fitting doors, and the side of her home separated from her driveway.
And we filled this in ourselves with some concrete.
Carter says after years of asking for help, she'd lost hope.
The city of North Las Vegas had turned their backs on us. They would hear our complaints, they would hear our concerns, but it never went any further than that. So it was like a lost community.
What I need is for you to sign your name up for I am going to take care of my citizens, poor, black, marginalized, and Latino citizens who purchase homes unknowingly, and say that I will always make sure that they're going to be there and I'm going to take care of them. That has not been the narrative. That has not been the narrative.
As Senator Neal introduced her bill this legislative session to finally fully fund relocating and building new homes for the people of Windsor Park, she argued the government had failed them for far too long.
I've been real nice. I let you slide on all of these omissions, but I'm not going to let you do it anymore.
How Windsor Park even came about is an evil that we probably is a long conversation to discuss.
While the city of North Las Vegas expressed a desire to help the people of Windsor Park, they opposed Senator Neal's bill, saying it would shift the fiscal burden historically borne by the federal government to the city and the state.
The city of North Las Vegas was in 2013 was in fiscal receivership. We didn't have the money to do anything.
Under the new state law, North Las Vegas will be on the hook for $12 million. The money will initially come from a state housing fund that the city will be expected to repay. Another $25 million will come from COVID-19 relief dollars.
It is big. It's ginormous, but I had the political will to move the needle because they mean something to me.
Now those who have been living in these slowly crumbling homes will get brand new ones in the near future. The goal, to move everyone out, including those who have been here since the beginning.
To me, it will be a celebration. If they give me, I give them my key and they give me a key to another house, I don't know if I'll be able to walk into it or not. I mean, I would probably be in such shock. Do I dare walk in this house? Is this my home?
And unlike the home where she lives now, it is something Carter can proudly pass on.
Now I will have a home that my granddaughter and my daughter will be able to enjoy.
Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
And in weather across the West Coast, some cooling changes setting up over the next few days. First, we're talking about some areas of frost up in the Pacific Northwest. In fact, you see the upper level wind pattern here, this little circulation, this little dip in the jet stream. This will lead to eventually a lot of snow in Denver, at least some snow in Denver, and also high fire danger in California. So here's a closer look at one of the forecast models indicating high fire danger. And you can see this is Friday evening. Not too much to show you. Look what happens as we put this into motion into your Saturday. Starting to see some more coverage up in Northern California. This is Saturday night, 10 o'clock, and this is all in response to those dry offshore winds developing and some coverage in Southern California and even more coverage in Southern California on Sunday as well. So we talked about it earlier, increasing fire danger first up in Northern California beginning Saturday and then down in Southern California beginning Sunday. That will carry over into Monday. Up in Seattle today, lots of clear skies, temperatures on the cool side, a high of only 51 degrees. In San Francisco, it was a sunny day as well. As you can see, looking out towards San Francisco Bay, temperatures in the mid-60s. Actually have frost advisories posted for portions of the Bay Area first thing Saturday morning. And then in Los Angeles, still in the clear, temperatures in the 70s. So lots of sunshine. That will continue up in the Pacific Northwest. You get the idea here at the upper level wind pattern. It's a cool one. So temperatures in the 50s. We have frost advisories and freeze warnings. Snow showers out toward Denver for tomorrow. Temperatures only in the 20s. 70s for Southern California and still some 80s out toward Phoenix for tomorrow afternoon. Here's the forecast model. We'll put this into motion and into Saturday. Look at this. Lots of clear skies from Seattle to San Francisco down toward Los Angeles and into San Diego. But look at this. Some rain showers out toward portions of Utah and Colorado. And looks like snow making a comeback in the Denver forecast for tomorrow for Saturday. So here's kind of the breakdown over the next 3 days. No rain threat up in Seattle. Lots of sunshine, but the cool weather pattern will persist. In San Francisco, temperatures trending up a bit Sunday and into Monday. Los Angeles, temperatures mainly in the 70s. I'll have to keep an eye on the fire danger in Southern California. Return to winter, it seems like, out toward the Rockies for Denver with the snow back in the forecast for Saturday. Compare that, 29 degrees in Denver tomorrow. Compare that to 86 degrees in Phoenix. So there must be some kind of frontal boundary between these two areas, between Denver and Phoenix. We have it all in the forecast for tomorrow. Alex.
Mark, thank you. A new partial victory tonight for advocates of transgender rights. Coming up, what's blocking Idaho's plan to bar transgender students from using the bathroom of their choice? Also, the 92-year-old hiker looking to make history at the Grand Canyon. Idaho's law barring transgender students from using the bathroom of their choice has been blocked for a second time. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit yesterday temporarily blocked enforcement of Idaho Senate Bill 1100 that was set to take effect in November. If enacted, the law would apply to all public and charter schools in the state and would allow students to sue school districts if they encounter a transgender person using a restroom that does not align with their biological sex. With the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series, we are seeing a new generation of fans. Check out these photos from St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center in Phoenix. Babies in the hospital's NICU, the NICU, are wearing some D-backs gear. Game 1 of the World Series is happening tonight. A 92-year-old man is set to become the oldest person ever to hike from rim to rim across the Grand Canyon. Earlier this month, Alfredo Aliaga completed that 24-mile journey with his daughter, son-in-law, and 2 witnesses. It took them 2 days and more than 21 hours of hiking. To prepare, Alfredo walked 3 hours every day for months. The hike was not Alfredo's first rim-to-rim hike, but it was the first time he had dozens of people waiting at the top to cheer him on.
Yeah, world champion! 92 years old.
All right. Way to go. We did it.
Alfredo says it was an unforgettable experience and said he is already looking forward to next year's trek. By the way, Guinness has not yet confirmed the world record because that process can take months, but what an accomplishment. Thanks for watching tonight.